Parisa Nasrabadi. She's an Iranian political analyst and researcher based in Tehran. Her research interests include the development of the global south, multipolarity, security policies, and the history of imperialism in West Asia. So, Parisa, please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm very honored to be here and apologize for being late. Some minutes, as you may know, I'm in Iran and we experienced some troubles regarding the internet. So I just want to start my speech with some few words about the real changes that happened during the last 2 years in the whole world. It has been a real tectonic shift in international political and business relations since the Ukraine war began. So the West, the whole transatlantic bloc headed by the United States, has been imposed sanctions on many countries to isolate them internationally and cripple their economy, such as Russia, but Russia will not be the last one, as Iran was not the last. So, you know that actually, as Bahman said and Taha also explained, since the 1979 revolution, the essence of Iran's foreign policy, Iran's approach to international order, has been based on specific principles and values against the imperialist governments. And this enmity of imperialist bloc first manifested itself in the form of military war and then in the form of economic war, namely sanctions, to pressure Iran to either change its behavior or the whole regime would be changed gradually by collapsing through the domestic wars or suddenly by a coup or color revolution or so on. So this sanctions framework is designed periodically regarding the contingencies, strategies, and tactics maintained by the US and its allies in transatlantic bloc. And the turning point in their performance actually was the secondary banking sanctions occurred around the 2010 and actualized in 2012. So US specifically use these financial mechanisms as a weapon. This financial weaponization aims to use financial instruments such as FATF, SWIFT system, and other banking systems and sanction regimes to reach specific goals regarding these securitization purposes. All mechanisms are articulated around the pivotal role of the dollar as the most powerful weapon of the US, not as the monetary instrument, but as the sword of Damocles to maintain the unipolarity and the US global hegemony, either through imposing crippling sanctions or waging other forms of financial warfare against foes. Since the 9/11, US has used this power with increasing frequency, actually. So these sanctions on Iran was a real economic war, and the US still is planning and implementing it. And there are continuous plans to increase economic pressure against Iran. So the US can solve the remaining issues with Iran, especially in the region, regarding Iran's powerful influence through the region in the West Asia. And the JCPOA actually has been an experience for the US that was very satisfying for them. And they want to actually reach another JCPOA, or maybe with the minimum actually advantages that they can give to Iran. So in this economic war, the economy should be adjusted according to this actual war requirements. But unfortunately, there's been no proper war position in terms of economic plans to oppose these sanctions with the less pressure on the lower classes and working class people in Iran. And when you are in the economic war, you need a war economy as well. So that needs the set of contingencies undertaken by the state, a system of planning, producing, mobilizing, allocating resources to sustain the violences that is as a consequence of the sanctions. And actually, we can say that the root of our vulnerability in the economic war has been internal and not only with relying domestic potential and regional and international capacities. So to say the economic problems will be solved by interacting with the West as this pro-West factions or these tendencies that are in the state are still in the state is totally wrong. It's a deceit and false argument. And a country that has the ability to manufacture advanced and very complex equipment, particularly in the military and nuclear industry, so they can make efforts to develop their capabilities in other aspects as well. But unfortunately, it was a real problematic for us because these domestic neoliberal economists and policymakers who are still alive and they were not satisfied with this sanction, but they claimed that this multilateral and unilateral sanctions imposed on Iran since 2008 have been isolated Iran from the global economy. And they actually, they say that that's why they believe that Iran is a rogue and provocative state. Actually, they don't say it very clearly, but they believe it. And they believe that Iran is not a regular and normal one. So Iran should compromise with the West and stop all nuclear or missile program which may make any concern for the West. So they talk about the necessities of the development from their standpoint, actually, and the nodal point in their discourse about the development is to promote the idea that you cannot reach any level of prosperity and progress if you cut ties with the global markets and especially with the transatlantic capitalist states. And as the multilateral sanctions did slow many of Iran's economic processes associated with the globalization, particularly the attraction of foreign investment and technology, they just repeat their arguments and they are trying just to push the government to make another JCPOA. So that's been really problematic. And although thanks to these tectonic changes in the international order, Iran not only bypassed the sanctions, but also neutralized them in a proper level. But however, this dichotomy in the state has been one of the most significant barriers to make contingent plans for the economy of the country, bearing the most unprecedented sanctions, as Iran do. So what did Iran do so far? I can say clearly that in contrast with Rouhani's government and other pro-West cabinets, Raisi and his team have put several essential projects on the table, which should be followed up. And I think that one of the actually Iran as a major oil producer has been on a drive to de-dollarize for years. So I think that Tehran made a major push to de-dollarize in a May meeting with 11 other countries, including India, Russia, and Sri Lanka. So given that Iran has been sanctioned for years, the countries of the West Asia has been discussing using yuan to settle trade as far back as 2010. And in 2012, China started buying crude oil from Iran using the yuan. So in February, Tehran and Beijing discussed increasing the use of the yuan and Iranian rial for bilateral trade, per the Financial Tribune and Iranian media outlets said. And also, Iran is linked up with Russia's payment system, the system for transfer to financial messages in February, and they have developed it to join these central banks in two countries. And I think that we doesn't need any third actually currency to trade with Russia right now. And Tehran also called on India to conduct bilateral trade in local currencies, and specifically in Rial and Indian rupee in May. That I think that is going to be actual. So, but I think that there is many efforts by countries like Iran, Russia, and China who do not want to use this SWIFT system, and they can actually bypass it through making a new exchanging system. So Russia has reoriented his entire economic and political focus toward the countries in Eurasia. And I think that Iran should do the same. That's a very good model for Iran as well. And strengthening the cooperation and ties inside the club of sanctioned countries to accelerate this de-dollarization is very crucial, and is a very necessary process. And it's possible, as you know, this U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said a few months ago that Washington should expect a gradual decline in the dollar share of the global reserve as a global de-dollarization move is gaining momentum. So I think that it's going on, and Iran can have a very important role in it. And due to this Russia-Ukraine conflict and China's rise and emergence of the groups, some groups like BRICS and BRICS Plus, many countries are attempting to reduce their dependence on the US by participating in this de-dollarization process. And there is also very important for the countries like Iran to increase joint efforts to reduce economic dependence on oil revenue and bolstering the resistance of the respective economies against this imperialist system, and to overcome the sanctions, as the Raisi also repeated in different conference with South American countries, in the Africa with the African countries. So I think that it's a very hopeful process, and it's going on. And I hope that we can overcome to this domestic barriers with these pro-West factions who are trying to just stop these processes, which is very helpful for us. Thank you very much.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.